Hey guys, welcome to the first ever episode of So Say It Again. I'm going to be your host, Miliana Ditre, and I'm really excited to do this. A little bit about me. I was raised in Florida, so if you ever see my sanity slip, just mind your business. It's a part of my culture. Originally, I'm from Haiti. I came to the United States when I was about 6. So shout out to the Zoes, big Zoe energy over here. And I am a zillennial, whatever that means. And yeah, I'm just so excited to finally be able to start this podcast. So let's get to it. What are we going to be discussing on this podcast? So just a little bit about the name. So I named the podcast So Say It Again. And ironically, I don't even remember who said this, but the credit goes to someone on TikTok. What they said was that it doesn't matter, if someone has already said whatever idea or whatever, that you should say it again because it didn't have your perspective, it didn't have your own personal spin or your experience to back it up. And that really resonated with me. Because I think a lot of us really get intimidated to say our ideas or our thoughts because we feel like it's already been said and that person probably said it in such an eloquent way and that, it doesn't matter if we say it. But I think that is a really big disservice to everyone around you because you never know if hearing it from you specifically is going to change someone's mind or if they're going to be able to accept it because you guys share experiences or if just the way you communicate it is different from that other person. And so they're able to receive that much better. So that's why you should definitely go ahead and say it. So I got a degree in history, and now it really wasn't that useful, except it gave me my favorite coping mechanism. So basically, when you're studying history, you just get to remove yourself from the forest and just remove yourself from the trees and look at the forest as a whole. And you get to just see the story so clearly. And that's exactly what I try to do in my everyday life, is just to remove myself from it whenever I get overwhelmed with the amount of information, with the different ways that the world is moving. I feel like the world is changing so fast around us. So it's really nice to just kind of remove myself and to analyze the story like a third party. So I've always liked this coping mechanism, but it didn't really come in handy. It didn't become my favorite one until COVID came around. Now, COVID has had such a big change on my personality, on my thoughts. It's influenced so much of me. And I didn't even realize that until now, until I'm starting to uncover all of these things. And I'm trying to figure out where they come from. And it's post-COVID. A lot of the new developments in my personality is post-COVID. So one of the things that I was a very extroverted person before COVID. I really like to speak to people, really like to go out, make new friends. And now I'm dealing with a little bit of social anxiety, not to self-diagnose, but who can afford a therapist? So we're going to self-diagnose. So yeah, it's definitely a change now, something that I'm trying to get used to. Now, I don't know if all of these changes in me are permanent or if it's just because COVID was so recent and I might just go back to how I was originally. But that's exactly why I'm starting this podcast is to document myself during this time and my thoughts. Now I'm taking you on this journey with me, of course, which brings us back to our first question. What is this podcast going to be about? So to sum it up, it's going to be about everything that I care about. From the big things like social justice to the small things like makeup and hair care or whatever it is that I think is important, I'm going to bring it here and we're going to adopt this hindsight bias perspective and we're going to get to analyze it together. I've always kind of envied the people who just really didn't care. It doesn't matter what you tell them. It's so hard for them to care about different topics. It's just hard for them to care about anything. And I've kind of secretly envied that because I think I care way too much. But for the first time in my life, that's going to serve me well because I can bring all of the things that I care about, which is a lot of things, to you guys and see if it resonates with you as well. Now, I love the idea of a podcast because I get to be a part of people's lives without much effort. So I hope you guys stick around so you can say you were with me on this journey from the very beginning and brag about how much I've grown. So thank you very much for listening to my first ever podcast, and I can't wait to speak to you soon. Have a good night or good morning. Have a good something. Bye.